If Buhari pulls this off, state of emergency. We are not even sure where and for how long.
Yeah.
If Buhari pulls this off, the VP has been rendered useless. The Senate President useless. The Chief Justice of the Nation useless. Every other officer useless apart from Buhari and Malami.
Welcome to episode 13 of Reactions. My name is Mr. Sal. Joining me today, as always,
Mr. Houston.
Okay, you're not going to wait for me today.
Mr. Houston.
Okay, Mr. Houston who?
Mr. Houston.
Oh, just Mr. Houston and Mr. Sal as well.
He doesn't want them to know to have his full details.
Mr. Houston,
Nwachukwu.
Hey, Oqua, introduce yourself for this one. Mr. Houston has set a new standard today.
They know who I am now.
For the new watchers, this is Mr. Henry Oqua.
Oqua.
I don't start to so before we begin to react to all the trending topics for the week, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share, subscribe to Page 36 TV on YouTube. So to start today's episode, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Houston to give us a rundown of the unrest in the Southeast, especially during the weekend. So just give us an update as to what's going on in the Southeast.
Over the week, we've seen all that's been going on in the Southeast, and it all started on Saturday last week when Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, issued a sit-at-home marching order or sit-at-home order. In as much as the group has been prescribed, we would have loved to see it as an order coming from a prescribed group or a terrorist group, as the president likes to call them. But in solidarity to the Biafrans and to the late Biafrans and the Igbo-speaking people of Nigeria, of which I happen to be part of. I would not want to say it was actually a marching or a sit-at-home order by the indigenous people of Biafra, but one that actually recognizes the people's fallen heroes. And I mean, he, according to Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, he made certain things. He made certain things known. He said, "We have so many of the days in this country that are being recognized every time," and he's not asking for the whole country because he doesn't even see himself in the first place. He doesn't see himself as a Nigerian, so he's not asking for the full country to celebrate to commemorate the sit-at-home, the memories of the leaders, the past leaders. He was only asking people from the Eastern extraction, the Igbo-speaking people, not just the Igbo-speaking people, every tribe or every area that took part or who had people represent them in the fight for independence of Biafra in 1967, between 1967 and 1970. So he was asking, but typically, this is not the first time they do this. I think since 2013 or so, every 30th, 31st of May, they always ask people to sit down at home, but nobody really takes it seriously. So I think this time around, especially at a time when the indigenous people of Biafra now have a radical arm, known as the ESN, Eastern Security Network, it was a little bit more enforced, because they issued threats that anybody they see outside, they would shoot at sight, and it was a little bit too tumultuous for the people in the Southeast, because some people were actually shot. Some people were shot at, some properties were destroyed and all that. But
shot by who?
I wouldn't know. I just stay in the Southeast, so I wouldn't know. But there was a lot of carnage within that, because the order was supposed to be on the 31st, but 31st was a Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yes. So they shifted it, just like every other public holiday we've had in this country that falls in the weekend, and how it's usually been pushed into the weekday. So it was extended till Monday. Now, between 30th and 31st, Saturday and Sunday, we experienced all of those. We experienced a lot of,
Sorry, 31st was a Monday actually.
Well,
31st was a Monday.
31st was a Monday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't move it then.
Okay, they didn't move it then. They didn't move it. So, but the whole thing started on 30th. The whole carnage started, the whole destruction of properties and loss of lives started in full on Sunday, 30th. And it was quite unfortunate. It was quite unfortunate. But at the same time, I think all of these things could have been nipped in the bud if only the country, because for once I wouldn't have to call the presidency, it has nothing to do with the presidency. So if the country came together from the National Assembly, the three arms of government came together to recognize this heroes, because I'll call them heroes. There were people who stood up for a cause, they fought for a cause, and at the end of the day, a lot of them submitted to Nigeria. And for whatever it's worth, if in 1970 the president called for the head of state at the time, Yakubu Gowon, called for ceasefire and end to the war with the what's it called? With the mantra of no victor, no vanquished. And I think a lot of the fallen soldiers should properly be recognized by this time. So if after almost 50-something years you still couldn't recognize these people, I think the people will have to recognize themselves. And it was just crazy that it had to happen this way. And I also need to say this, for the record, a lot of Easterners did not, and still to this point, do not support violence. They do not support all of this violence in the East by the IPOB. A lot of them are Biafrans. I identify as somebody from the Biafran extraction, going by the geopolitical zone and by my language. I would identify as a Biafran, but not as an IPOB member, because I believe there's certain initiations or forms or whatever it is one has to feel to be a part of that, and I'm not interested, and I've never done that. But if the Biafra people are people from the south, some parts of the south, and a larger extraction of the southeast, where I happen to come from, then I think it is only proper to call them my people. So I believe that the government would have been the wrong to allow for these people to be remembered or commemorated every year, if you agree that there is no victor, no vanquished. And also, we'll also come to realize that we do not have things outside of the Southeast named after these people. We have a stadium here in Abuja that is named after
Moshood Abiola.
We have things everywhere.
Recently named though.
Recently named Moshood Abiola. And there's already a stadium in Ogun State that's named Moshood Abiola. So we have so many things after these people. So if a particular group of people in this country consider their people as heroes, and the nation at large do not see these people, do not want to recognize them, I think it is only proper for the people to recognize themselves. So we did not, as Biafrans and as Igbo people and as Nigerians, we do not we do not condone the violence. We condemn highly every violence this thing that took place during the sit-at-home period. But at the same time, we will always, and even in the years to come, we will always commemorate, we will always remember our fallen heroes. Yeah. Because it's the right thing to do.
I have a question to ask.
Yeah.
It's very clear that Nigeria has almost never recognized Biafra officially.
Yes.
You understand? However, do you think that certain groups of people can clearly rationalize the extent of, because I saw some pictures and videos of built houses burnt, cars.
Yeah.
It was the G-Wagon one that pained me.
Yeah,
They should have given it to me instead of burning
and
it. You understand? I wasn't so sure whether that happened during that weekend, that Biafra Day thing, but I want to understand, is it that in certain places, that kind of violence, they have a way of justifying it? If they have a way of justifying it, what do they say to justify those kind of actions?
I think, like I'm saying, I do not know, but I think that I'd also said this in previous episodes. The IPOB started off as a movement. for recognizing the indigenous people of Biafra.
Yeah.
It was never radical in the first place. It was never violent. They started up as a pressure group and an agitation group, and before it metamorphosed into a secessionist group, asking that they want to leave. And if you look, the underlying theme of all of their agitation is due recognition of the people, honoring the federal character in this country, due representation, which these people are yet to get. And gradually, it will not even be wrong to say this government actually created the radical arm of the IPOB. And now, since indirectly, yes, because if negligence of the government or negligence of the people's plight is able to create something like this, then clearly the people that are now radical will go against anybody. Like if you listen to some of the speech from if you listen to some of the podcasts from the IPOB people, there were a group of people they call them saboteurs. They said saboteurs. Now the saboteurs are not the northerners, they're not the Christians, they're not the Muslims, they're nobody in this country. But saboteurs are members of the indigenous people, members of the Biafran extraction, the Igbo speaking extraction of Nigeria, who do not want to, or who do not believe in their cause, or who do not comply with the rationale of the Biafran people. People who would rather kick against everything they say to remember the fallen heroes and all that. They consider them saboteurs, and they've always they've always sworn to go after saboteurs, members of the Southeast who do not conform with their ideas. Now that's actually terror, if you ask me. It is wrong, but then just like I said initially, not everybody in the Southeast conforms to their idea. Not everyone in the South supports their idea.
So that means
whether or not
almost all those people who don't support are potential targets.
That's my point. So if you do not support, because now it is believed that this disgruntledness within the Southeast and how they've been treated by the government over time is supposed to be a common opinion. It is supposed to be, because whether you like it or not, we all feel it. I feel it. That my people are not being duly represented. How many people do we have there? We have Indigo, we have Chris and Frank from police, and who else? Nobody represents us. We're educated, we have everything, we have everything to be duly represented at the presidential level, at every level, but we don't have adequate representation. So we are disgruntled as a people. So now, if we all feel this displeasure by the government's actions and all that, or from the government's actions towards us, the IPOB now, the radical aspect of the Igbo-speaking people, whom we do not all conform to their ideas, they see anybody who feels less disgruntled as people who have collected money or who have collected certain favors from the government, which most times is usually what it is. Now, I'm not saying they are right.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, whether that justifies the attack.
Over time in Nigeria, we've seen where people fight for cause. Even people in this government right now, we've seen people who fought for several causes in their life. We've seen Festus Keyamo when he fought for Asari.org to be released. This was somebody who actually vandalized government properties. This was somebody who fought against the government. It was somebody who had radical approach. Two wrongs. No, I'm coming. Now, he did all of these things, but people saw where he was coming from. He fought under the arm of the men, the Niger Delta Emancipation Group and all that. And a lot of people saw his ideas and said, what he's saying isn't so wrong. And his son, then he wasn't yet the son, the senior advocate of the nation, in person of Festus Keyamo, went and helped advocate for him until he was released. Do you understand? So what I'm trying to say is, we've had people in the past all do this thing for their people, for their own aspect of the country. And when they go and represent, they get whatever it is they want. Now, we've also had people now from the Igbo speaking extraction who have gone out to ask for due representation, due identification within the country, and they don't get all of these things. But you still see some people who see nothing wrong. You see some people who see nothing wrong in how the government treats the Igbo people. Which, if you're being honest with yourself, you'll see that there's everything wrong with it. The government does not even, or this particular administration does not even honor the federal character at all.
Sorry, I realize I'm interjecting, and
Okay,
I
fine.
just want clarity for myself and for
People
who are watching. Now, a lot is being said about how KANU and IPOB's actions only aid the stand of the federal government or the Buhari administration 97 by 5%, being that while you are marginalized from the center, you are not recognized at the center. You don't have peace either. You do not have investments either. Because if you say somebody's doing bad to you and your actions in response to that puts your people at greater peril, because if you see the kinds of houses that were burnt, the kinds of cars that were burnt, if someone is looking at that like, okay, I invested something in the southeast, will that thing be safe? You understand? So how does this sit with the larger population of the southeast? Are we saying now that a larger people in the southeast prefer Nnamdi Kanu's way, which people have said aligns with what the marginalization coming from the center? If not, where's the way out for a legitimate push for
the way out is
for the southeast?
The way out is could have been simple, but I won't say it's not so simple. But now I think the government still lies in the hands of this government. Now you do not use just like recently. I mean, we saw all of that happened. What the government spelled, what it promised to unleash in the southeast, things like that. Now you can't use violence to You can't always use violence to quell violent situations. But what I'm trying to say is, being someone from the disgruntled extraction, I think that Nnamdi Kanu's approach towards this isn't really the proper way. I think the solution could still come from government. IPOB wasn't formed under this administration. It was formed since Goodluck Jonathan's time. But they were not this radical. They never had a radical arm. It was just at the ideology aspect where they were preaching their ideologies and saying their ideals and saying they will eventually leave this country and blah, 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 blah. Now, at a time like that, I think it is only proper, while they were still at the dialogue level, they called for dialogue. They asked for people to. Nnamdi Kanu was in this country up till 2009. Do you understand? So he wasn't running from people. He never brought out arms towards people and all that. So as at that point in time, we all saw some. I didn't even know, just to be on the record, I didn't even know some of the things that were being deprived of in the southeast until IPOB started to talk about some of these things in way back 2014, 13, and the rest of them. So it was only going to have been naturally quelled, or things will have been ameliorated if the government, either the past administration or this administration, said, okay, we're going to do this for your people. This is what is going to happen. But the last administration didn't do it, and this administration is only making it worse by further. These people are already going through a lot of stuff, and you now have bandits and all this. Headsmen and all these other issues, which also culminated in forming the ESN and all that. So Nnamdi Kanu's idea, just like I said, is not bounding every Igbo person. Like Igbo people are not all the Igbo people support his ideas. I don't support his ideas. Like this violence, I don't support that. Going to burn people's houses, even chasing out the governor and all that. I do not support all of that radical approach. Yeah. But my point here is, when it comes to certain things like sit at home for in commemoration of our past heroes, I wasn't in Imo State, but I sat at home where I was because I sat at home not because I was scared, but because I believed in commemorating my past heroes, my past leaders. So I decided to sit at home by myself. But with having to enforce this sit at home through violence wasn't really the right way. It wasn't really the right way.
Then I want to ask, for clarity, this sit at home order, was it for all the Southeast states?
Sit at home it wasn't for all the Southeast
because there was so much attacks in Imo State particularly, and I want to find out why was there so much noise and chaos in Imo.
I'll come to Imo now. Sit at home, first of all, was never for all the Southeast states. It was supposedly supposed to be for all the states that were involved in the Biafran struggle of 1967. Now, you have some parts of River State, Cross River State, Oqua, and all those states. That's Wike. Wike probably doesn't understand his history. Now, sit at home was not. It wasn't a violent order. It was actually a voluntary order. It was supposed to be a voluntary order, but at the same time, it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be something. See, all the regions.
This one was a violent order, though.
It was violent. It was violent because it was being issued by Nnamdi Kanu, who came from the violent angle. My own sit at home was in my house. I wasn't violent about it. I didn't force anybody. I didn't even force my younger ones to sit
You
at
were
home.
talking about the order. The order came from top.
You asked if it was for the South. It wasn't for the South. It was for every. It was for every. Not all the states. Every. We call them states now, but it was for the entire South region.
Southeastern region.
Yeah, the Southeastern region, and every ethnic group that was represented in that Biafran struggle in 1967.
Yeah. Then why was the Imo State?
Imo State. Imo State has been the hotbed even before the sit-at-home order. And if you observe, the thing with Imo State in particular is a lot bigger than just IPOB. Imo State I think the problem in Imo State started from this present governor, the emergence of this governor as governor. If you look at the whole thing, like everything that played out politically, and it started from politics. I can say, I think it's best to say it all started from politics, because if you notice, before sit-at-home, they chased the governor out of his house. They burnt his house. The governor had to leave for Abuja. A northern politician, was recently murdered in Imo State. So Imo State was already a hotbed, and this was all politically related before even sit-at-home. So it was only a lot more turbulent in Imo State during the sit-at-home, because there was already widespread violence within the state.
Okay.
So the sit-at-home only intensified it.
All right, let's move on. Yeah. So President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday, reacting to the security unrest in the country, issued a statement that has set the country on more fire. Speaking after he received a briefing from the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission on the series of attacks on facilities of the electoral body around the country, President Buhari said the following. So I'm just going to read some part of what he said, and I'll ask you guys to react to this, right? So the first thing he said here, so he says, I received daily security reports on the attacks, talking about the insecurity attacks, and it is very clear that those behind them want this administration to fail. So he goes on to say, insecurity in Nigeria is now mentioned all over the world. All the people who want power, whoever they are, you wonder what they really want. Whoever wants the destruction of the system will soon have the shock of their lives. We have given them enough time. Mr. Oqua, we talk about, for weeks now, we've been talking about the security unrest in the country, insecurities and whatnot, banditry and everything. Yeah. Sometimes we sit down here to talk, we don't even know whether the president is aware. Many times you have alluded to the fact that he's not really aware of what's going on in the country. So he came out this time to say that he receives daily security reports. So that means he's aware of what is going on here. So that part, take note of that part. Then when he says we have given them enough time, do you give people time to attack? Do you give people time to destroy your system? I want you to address this bit before I move on to the rest I said, please.
I think what we've seen here was what we were trying to discuss last week. When certain people come out to speak on behalf of the president about certain issues, there's a different tone. The choice of words, you either hear that he's shocked, he's baffled, as if he does not know what is going on when it's happening in another region. All of a sudden now, certain things have gotten worse in certain regions, and all of a sudden the president is telling us that he receives daily security reports. Now, if you receive daily security reports, are you telling me that these security reports don't tell you what the people who are causing this mayhem, what they want? Because here he's saying whoever they are, you wonder what they really want. Buhari has, I don't know how we got sold this ruse, honestly speaking, where somebody whose name was more or less synonymous with integrity before coming into office, whether we believed him or not, that was what the narrative was. Now, to put that side by side with a liar, these are lies as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you receive daily security reports, when police stations were burnt down, you would have done something about it. Yeah. If you were really concerned about the region, you remember I told you, I think two episodes back, that I'm still not satisfied with the use of unknown gunmen. You understand? Because
in your opinion, they know what they
exactly,
know.
And I feel like when you give it to somebody who is unknown, you're trying to say any other thing that happens, file it under that unknown person. Yeah. You understand? Now, for him to come out and say he knows Buhari is lying. He doesn't know anything.
For clarity, for people that may not understand, what do you think is the content, or are the contents of these daily reports, the security reports?
I think
what's the security report supposed to look like before the president?
So I think this is a very interesting question because remember, Buhari is cordoned off. He has not visited any part of this country, not even his home state, in a while. The one that he tried to go to in London, Reno Mokri and his people pinned him down in Abuja house. You understand? Listen, if you're not out there, you can't know. You really can't know. Now, being cordoned off means that the filtering process has to suit the side of the desires of the people who want to keep their jobs. You understand? Now, if you're the president and we have put you in this house and you're not going out, if you're put me in charge of something, sir, I have to come back to you and tell you that I've done that thing. Whether you watch the news or read the papers or anything, as long as you believe me, let's use you and I and Houston, for example. You send us out to go and do a job. You're here, you're not going out of the house. You're not traveling anywhere. The only thing you're doing is watching the news and watching and reading newspapers. Now, my job as maybe, oh God, I hate this, but maybe additional, he's Garbashew. Yeah? Our jobs basically, let me explain to you how bad this filtering process is. Our jobs basically is keep the media in check. Do you understand? The reports that are supposed to embarrass the government, both of us will ensure that those reports don't come out.
On TV.
You won't see them. Do you understand? If they discuss them and by mistake your gate man tells you, by the time we come, you respect us more than your gate man now. Without telling you, that's preposterous. It's a lie. It never happened. Now, when you look at it like that, you would see that something got to a particular point and somebody woke up and said, listen, we have to say something about what is going on in so and so place. That's what he means by he receives daily reports. He doesn't receive daily reports. President Muhammadu Buhari, I doubt that you wake up before 8 a.m. in the morning. No, it's true. Listen, I'm not making wild allegations. I'm using the man's antecedents to try and tell you what this man looks like. Do you understand? A man who wakes up at 6 o'clock, what am I saying 6? Say 5:30. That's if the president of Nigeria is not supposed to sleep. True. The state where we are in, the president of Nigeria should not sleep. So if you are getting these reports, imagine that you send me to go and do something and I come back every day I come back and tell you this problem, this same problem. Won't you kick me out? Exactly. Now look at how long it took him to kick out the service chiefs. So there's no, it's a lie. There was no reports. Mr. President, you lied, I beg.
All right, let me continue with his statement. So he says, while recalling that he visited all the 36 states of the country before the 2019 general elections, President Buhari added. So he said, and I quote, "Majority of the people believed me and the election proved it."
Inconclusive election. Which one?
Mr. Houston, why do you think the president had to say this part? Because he didn't just say this out of the blue. So he's saying in the midst of the chaos right now, people are complaining whatnot. But he's trying to say that he visited the 36 states when he was campaigning for the office of president. And majority of the people, of all of us, believed in him and the election proved it. What does this have to do with the security problem in Nigeria right now?
It really has nothing to do with the security problem. The president is still trying to look for his loyalists. He feels maybe if the military isn't quelling the situation, then probably his loyalists, because of course this president understands one thing. He understands that even in the midst of all his failure, he still has supporters. He has a lot of supporters.
They're in the comment section.
Yeah, they're always in the comment section. So apparently this statement is only trying to reach out to those few people to let them know that, look, you guys, we need your support now. Because I don't think it has ever been this bad since Abacha, where close to 70% of the country is saying, Oga, we are tired. Oga, we've had enough.
I think there's even another layer to it here.
Okay.
If you check Buhari's normal behavior is that they ask him one question and he rants about a lot of other things that are unconnected.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, how does this relate with
now,
where
let me
with
try
right
and explain
now?
how I think this relates. Yeah, legitimacy. Buhari running for office in 2015 was about the legitimacy of his candidature over Jonathan's candidature. In 2019, Buhari knew that he had lost that legitimacy. The elections were very, very rigged. We know that. We understand that that's still the reason why the Electoral Act cannot be passed yet. Do you understand? No, whatever. Whoever wants to take me to court for that, I will say what I have to say. Do you understand? Now, Buhari stole the ballot in 2019. If you still hold on.
The way you say it's still like my head just pictured him like
if Buhari had not shown us that he would crush any of us that protested before the elections, I think Nigeria would have boiled when the 2019 election happened. Do you understand? Because we are not just we haven't just gotten to this point now where we are tired. We got tired about two years into Buhari's regime. We were tired already.
Well, we got tired, but not everybody in the country. A few people still supported up to this point. You have
even the 2019
people
still supported him, though.
Some of these people who support him are not just people they're not people of the northern extraction. You still have some people in the south,
in the southwest,
that's this seen nothing wrong.
Okay, so to bring this point home, that legitimacy thing, Buhari does not see himself as your leader, like you have appointed him to go and do a job. He sees himself as the god of a certain group of people. Do you understand? Now, when the legitimacy of a god is threatened, he responds in a certain kind of way. That's what this is about. That's what he's trying to explain to them. That listen, I am the person in charge of this place. I'm the person on this seat. Do you understand?
I'm the one that you believed in. You guys put
he's not talking. He's not. Houston's point is valid. Houston's point is valid. I'm trying to expand on this because he throws it out from time to time. Many people don't settle on it. But that legitimacy, when you view yourself as mighty, high and mighty, a deity, and these things happen. These things are. If you go up on that statement, you see where he talked about. And it is very clear that those behind them want his administration to fail. Do you understand? For him, he has personalized it. It is about him, his whatever legacy of lies and whatever, and insecurity, whatever he wants to call it. For him, it is that thing that is being threatened. That's the reason why he feels the need to reinforce that in 2019 he traveled. When last can he travel anywhere again? Please let him try it.
Anyway, so the president noted that the people had earlier demanded for a change in security chiefs and the Inspector General of Police, which he listened to and changed them all, saying that he does not know what again the people want.
I don't
watching him saying these things, I actually felt pity for him somehow though. He was like saying like, oh, these people say I should change the service chiefs. Like he really changed them when we were actually asking him to change them. You didn't change them then. It took you so long before you could change them. And just changing the service chiefs, is that all? Because he sounded like a defeated man to me though. Because he was lamenting, saying like, how would the president say? He said, what else? Like he said, what do they want us to do again? He doesn't know what again the people want.
If I talk now,
and that's where I have to agree with you that he doesn't really know what's going on.
He doesn't.
Because if you really know what's going on in the heat of this nation right now, you don't know what people want. So just change service chiefs.
I think for the president for him to make that speech, it was probably because it wasn't business as usual anymore. The Southeast is now threatened, and that's probably why he came out to make that statement. Because before now, Nigeria was a group of happy people with small battle going on in the northeast. That was Nigeria. So the battle going on in the northeast is now like part of the system. It's now part of like the Nigerian status quo.
It's another ministry now.
It's another ministry on its own, exactly. So that's like Nigeria. Nigeria is a geographical setting with a group of happy people and a battle in the northeast. That's as far as Buhari knew. So right now, coming out, first of all, I was even wondering why he even came out to address the country or address a few people. He came out to do that probably because someone has told him, look, something is happening. It's no longer just the northeast or
the
northwest.
They're complaining on that.
Exactly, or the northwest. Or the northwest. Now we have southeast problems, and our offices, we don't even have offices there anymore. So the president is probably like, I mean, what is happening now? This is another one. Okay.
So that proved that you don't actually receive daily security reports.
Exactly. So all those national security summit that they do, all those where they sit down and everybody and Pantami sits down with them. All of those things are just probably normal. Like we know next people still sit down for another one.
Let's even assume. Let's assume that he gets some kind of report. Let's assume that he gets some kind of report. Those other ones that he has gotten before, why would he be shocked? Think about it. They were attacking Kebbi, they were attacking Zamfara, they were attacking Katsina. In 1 week or in a couple of days, all Buhari statements will be shocked.
Yeah, but I think why he's shocked, like you say, his handlers, maybe they make him believe that there's peace in the country because he doesn't know what's going on.
But did you see his expression of surprise when he said, I don't know why we have it in the northwest? He said it was only the southeast. I don't know why we're not having the northwest.
I think the picture of Nigeria he has is very different from the reality.
The northeast has always been a normal thing. Like the northeast is now a cash cow, whatever. That's business as usual in the northeast. So now
that was what Obasanjo said in that his letter last year. That was what he said.
So having carnage around the country now is not surprising. It's like
Anyway, so President Buhari also promised Oqua. Listen. President Buhari also promised to support INEC with all they need to make sure the 2023 general elections hold. And he quoted here, he said, so that no one, including Oqua, would say we do not want to go or that we want a third term. So when I heard this part, I'm like, this guy must have watched Henry, because your argument all the while, like several times you have asked, like, okay, if there's chaos in the country and the 2023 elections cannot hold, who does this benefit? So him coming out to say this right now, I think he's just responding to you guys to say, hey, I want to leave. I'm going to support INEC. I do not want a third term. Do we take this statement?
No, it's completely untrue. It's completely
why do you think
it is disrespectful
Oh.
for the president to claim that he does not want to hold on to power. It is disrespectful. Listen, when what's his name? When Yar'Adua won the 2007 election, he admitted that there was a problem with the system, that the elections that brought him in were fraudulent. He said that. And his promise was to push the Electoral Act that was signed in 2010. Do you understand? Yar'Adua, with sickness and everything that he battled, by 2010 we had a new Electoral Act. Today, the 8th Senate battled with amending the Electoral Act. The 9th Senate is doing it now. The president is not interested in signing the Electoral Act. He's not in. Listen, when you want to remove what it is that is wrong with the system, it is the enabling law. Now, your lawmakers and every other person have sat down and said, this is how our elections should happen going forward. We should have certain things that the barest minimum for elections, and you don't want that to happen. Now, you're not doing anything about that. You're not doing anything about security. People can only vote where they are safe. Do you understand? Now, without security, people cannot go to the polling units. When the people cannot go to the polling units, the existing structures for rigging elections right now, for fraudulent elections, is that people do not turn up. Low turnout means that more PVCs that are in the hands of the wrong people can be used to be printed for a particular party. It's a system. Let's not act as if these things exist separately from themselves. If you cannot ensure security, it means people cannot go to the polling units. Do you understand? When people cannot go to the polling units, the results that come out are the results that they have to take. They have no choice. Do you understand? Now, if you continue to subvert the signing into law of the new Electoral Act, and every other thing you're doing is heightening insecurity, you're the person standing in the middle. You're the one who stands to gain. Because as long as elections cannot hold, the Constitution does not have a provision for elections not holding. So what will now happen then?
Yeah, but he's saying that he's going to ensure that the elections hold.
How can he ensure that the elections hold when the INEC does not have offices in a certain region? How?
I think it is that statement was a complete disregard of the Nigerian people, of the safety of the Nigerian people, because In fact, I think
of the safety.
yeah, it's in complete disregard of the safety of the Nigerian people because all this government seems to be more concerned about is selling oil, borrowing money, and conducting elections. People have been crying that they're suffering. People have been saying they're dying. Before that, I was suffering. There's hunger in the land. Now, nobody's talking about hunger again. Now, people are like, I can't sleep. I'm scared. And the government is here assuring INEC. You're not assuring even the people. You're assuring INEC they're going to conduct another elections. Okay. They've been asking for this electoral act to be moved, to be pushed. Push this bill, push this thing. The president is not talking about that. He's saying he's going to give them all that they need. What do you think they need? Address the people. The people need stuff for free and fair elections, not INEC. INEC will always conduct, even if the electoral act is pushed, it's still INEC that will conduct elections. But what we're saying is push the electoral act and don't stop telling us INEC. INEC are not Nigeria. They're just a group of unindependent people
to conduct elections
because they're not even independent.
So we're talking about this statement right now, but we have not addressed one thing. I want to hear from you guys. So when it says here that whoever they want, so he says insecurity, blah 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 blah. All the people who want power, whoever they are. Do you believe the president does not? Who is the president addressing here? Because this statement is not very clear as to who he's talking to. We just have people concluding because of the later part where he talked about civil war, which I'm gonna read to you guys here. But from this first half, though, without even hearing the civil war part, do we just think he's speaking to
people have a different approach to Buhari that I can't understand. Listen, without insulting anybody, we've had leaders and we've known what their antecedents are. When these people's topics come up, Nigerians are able to look through the lens of those their antecedents to say this person does like this, so this person is like this. But you never get that from Buhari in mainstream discourse about him. It's almost as if Buhari is one separate, different entity somewhere, and the things that Buhari has done, he did not do. And then you can't be disconnected. You can't be disconnected from the people and then know who the people are. You can't be. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, so think about it. Like, I keep using you in your house cordoned off. The day after 4 months, by the time you stand up and go to your gate, you find new things now. Your security man has always been your security man, but all of a sudden he'll become whoever. Do you understand what I'm saying? The president has been detached from Nigeria for a very long time. It's the reason why Sahara reporters went to town with cabal and whatnot. Because there are people who are operating the presidency. Listen, we have enough in history under this Buhari administration to know that the president is not in charge of whatever is happening in this country, and he does not know. It was one of the APC. I think was it Lawan in the Saraki Senate also that said, "Who is the presidency?" Do you understand? When you hear these things, when you hear these things, don't separate them. Listen, access to Buhari is highly restricted. Yeah. They say it is probably the Attorney General and a few others that can see him. When you think about it, imagine that you don't go out and only a few people can come to you. Think about the information they will bring to you. Yeah. Do you understand? Think about the questions you ask that they don't have answers to, that they have to go and ask another person to bring answers back to you. Think of the time. Do you understand? When you look at the president like that, it is you can now understand what he means by whoever, because he doesn't actually know.
So are you saying the president is actually dependent on a group of people as well?
I think.
But when you say he doesn't know,
I would like some time on one other episode here to expand on this thing.
So, but when you say he doesn't know, but he goes further to refer back to the Nigerian civil war. How does that add up?
Because he doesn't know, sir. The conversation around the Nigerian civil war has long progressed beyond agitations we want to fight war. It has long progressed beyond that.
And there are different agitations going on in the country as well.
And he's still in the dark. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sir, our president is completely detached from Nigeria.
Anyway, let me go on to read this one that everybody started shouting about. So he also made the following comment, which got deleted by Twitter. We are going to address that one as well. So he said, many of those misbehaving today are too young to be aware of the destruction and loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war will treat them in the language they understand. Ooh. And goes on to say, we are going to be very harder sooner than later. I'm going to leave that part. Mr. Houston, those of us in the field for 30 months who went through the war, talking about the Civil War, will treat them in the language they understand. Do you think there's a better way he could have responded? How do you think he should have responded? What response did you think, or do you think would have been better?
Some episodes back, we talked about somebody, a public servant in this country, addressing a group of people as Biafran boys, which goes to show how they see the Igbo people. The president is saying we will treat them in the language that they understand. If the president saw these people he's talking to, if he saw them as Nigerians, would he refer to them? Do you think, Sal, that the president will refer to them, to people he sees as Nigerians, in that manner? Would you refer to your children as those people making trouble in this house, those people making noise, I'm going to treat them the way?
No.
Thank you. You will call their name, Abi?
Yeah.
Why didn't the president address, why didn't he call names? Mr. Henry said something. He said something about unknown gunmen. I mean, the elder said something about unknown gunmen a few minutes ago. He said something about there's unknown gunmen is actually unknown gunmen is actually for me is like for me it's like an escape slang, or I don't know, it's a funny lexicon people just use and say unknown gunmen. Unknown gunmen was predominant in the East. Suddenly we have unknown gunmen murdering people in Plateau State now. Everybody now is unknown gunmen, which also goes to show failure on the part of the security agencies. Because everything now is now unknown gunmen. Now, as the number one citizen of this country, you should be able to know whoever is causing this havoc.
Yep.
And address them by their name. Now, you see, this, I remember talking to my late grandmother in 2000, like up till 2016 when she passed. Whenever I said, Mama, tell me about the war, she starts crying and tells me, stop, don't ever ask me about the war. We used to play with her then. If my grandma pissed me off, I'll be like, Mama, I'll come and meet you and talk about war now. Our face will change. Nobody wants to listen about, this thing is like opening old wounds. Do you understand? So if, just like I rightly said from the first question I answered, I said not every Igbo man is a member of the IPOB. I am not a member of the IPOB. By virtue of my geographical location, you could call me a Biafran. And by the way, Biafra is not a bad word. Do you understand? Biafra is not an agitationist statement. It actually represents a particular geographical location. We have the Bight of Biafra off the coast of Nigeria. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, I can identify as a Biafran in Nigeria due to my history, due to my geographical location, due to my ancestry. But I am not a member of IPOB. As a matter of fact, I'm saying it right here on TV. Anybody who calls me IPOB, I will fight you.
Okay.
I would lose my I'll lose my rag and fight you, because you can't tell me you can't tell me I'm a member of IPOB. Do you understand? Now, if the government sees these people, he calls his enemy or whatever, you don't address the whole group. Every Muslim is not a terrorist, but every terrorist is a Muslim. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but it is wrong to see any Muslim on the road and say you're a terrorist. Every Muslim is not a terrorist, but every terrorist, or 95% of terrorists, are Muslims. But it's still not enough for you to say every Muslim is a terrorist. So you cannot come and say, these people, I'll treat you in the language and throw the word out there and say you don't know the meaning. And people are coming out to defend the presidency to say, we misconstrued his words. For crying out loud, this is the number one citizen of a nation. You should be able to know the right words to use. So I find that very, I'm very displeased with that. Like, that was the most distasteful statement I heard in this week. So.
Very bad. Hey, Oqua, I'm just going to jump into Twitter deleting this particular part of the president's statement. What did you think that meant? What does this mean to the president or to us or to, you know?
I think Twitter did something very fantastic. Unfortunately, we are in the era of screenshots where, not nothing is really deleted.
Yeah.
Before I get notifications from the president's account, I don't know why I still do that to myself. I've blocked all the national dailies, all Sahara Reporters Premium Times. I blocked all of them. I still get from him sometimes, and
Wow.
I guess it's for fun, or maybe I'm suicidal. I want to keep hearing dirty things like this and come out for the presidency.
Don't be suicidal.
I'm happy that Twitter did that.
Okay.
Why? This is the same administration that 2 years into its reign said it was going to pass a bill against hate speech.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't say certain things.
Yeah.
TV stations cannot say certain things.
Now you're guilty of hate speech.
No, you're not just a global organization has said
international level now.
Bring this thing down. You understand? So I think as with every other thing in Nigeria, most discussions are only skin deep. You understand? We won't ever get to the heart of it because there's no sincerity to get anything done anywhere at all. But kudos to Twitter. That was long overdue. We are happy that happened.
Yeah. And I agree with you when you said earlier, I think in previous episodes, you said the president still behaves like a dictator. Because this whole statement to me was just screaming dictator, because what's it going to cost you? There are many people reacting to this statement that said the president could have called these agitators. What's wrong to call the leaders? Call their leaders. Find out what they want. What do you guys want? How can we do better by you guys? This is democracy now. Is this not democracy?
Sorry, one more thing. I didn't say this. Do you realize the president said this or tweeted this or made this statement on the same day that the president of the United States was actually commemorating 100 years of the Oklahoma incident?
Oh.
The massacre of black people, of over how many black people? Over 100 black people. Business owners, peaceful business owners you see?
And the president of the
most populous black nation is threatening to kill more black people. So you're giving kudos to Twitter for pulling it down. I'm giving kudos to Twitter for situating their African headquarters in Ghana because these are the issues.
These are the issues. I'm like, it's going to cost them anything to just invite these guys. Let's talk. What do you want? No matter what you want. And what the Biafran people are actually asking for, to me, is not too far-fetched. Because I believe if Nigeria is working well, they feel really included. I don't think they want to break out. I don't think they will want to break out.
How do you have a meeting? How do you have a meeting to bring peace to the Southeast region without a single member of the Southeast in that meeting? You're planning to kill people, and look and see. They say we took it the wrong way. Now, how else can the Southeast take such statements when, since this administration, I mean, the military in this particular administration has been the highest violator of human rights. From Zaria, 1,000 people massacre, Shia massacre. We still see that massacre in Abuja going on. The one they did in Umuahia. Unarmed IPOB members went in there and killed like how many people? So how do you expect the Southeast to be? Killed innocent people, even killed the family dog, for crying out loud. Like, you wonder when you hear things like this, then you expect people to take this line though?
All right. Man. Let's move on. And we just pray for peace in the land, Hopefully they don't unleash mayhem. So the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, SAN, has called for a unicameral legislature for Nigeria, stating specifically that the Senate should be scrapped while the National Assembly should be put on part-time basis in order to reduce the cost of governance. So this is what he said, and I quote.
He just come out to deny that. He said he didn't say that.
They came out to reinterpret the statement, but he actually said this. I don't know. These guys will say one thing and they will tackle them in the presidency and they will come out and say they didn't say it. He said this. Let's even assume he didn't say this, that somebody else said this. But I feel like whatever he said here is quite interesting, and let's discuss about it. Let's forget who the messenger is. I don't care. So it is possible to have a government that will serve the people in deed and truth. Yes, it's possible. The law of the land must aid this realistic expectation. We must reduce the cost of governance and shift attention to service delivery in this trying period. So it says, the country may consider dropping the current bicameral structure of the National Assembly and adopt a unicameral legislature. The membership of the National Assembly should be part-time. No member should earn allowances not known to the Revenue Mobilization and Allocation Committee, and more importantly, people they claim to serve. Legislators should earn under a uniform salary structure. Allowance peculiarities must not be about obscenity. The Senate should be scrapped. The House of Representatives, too, should be unwieldy. A maximum of 4 representatives should come from each zone. Oqua, what do you think about this suggestion? Do you think this will help us as a nation? You know, if we scrap the Senate, have 4 representatives from each zone, and we have them on part-time basis, do you think moving forward, you know, because I think right now, we're in the phase right now where different people are throwing ideas as to how Nigeria can be better.
It's because the Senate is on the, what do they call it, on the toll for the constitution
review. So ideas are coming.
So all of these things are coming out.
Yeah.
Akeredolu, I think this is just a populist view, and he didn't deliver it himself. So that makes me wonder the level of how much priority he put to the whole thing. I understand that governors can be very busy and whatnot, but constitutional amendment is once in a lifetime. It's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. So I feel like everybody's saying a lot of things right now, and we know where our problems are. Do you understand? The way Nigeria is structured, with the senators, with the House of Reps and blah, 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 if we are honest with ourselves, we can still make it work. I want to see what Akeredolu does after he finishes his
If he doesn't go to the National Assembly.
Do you understand? Does he want to go there and work part-time? Do you understand? Now, all of these suggestions, I want to see what the first proposed final draft is before they start deliberations in the National Assembly. I've not played any part in this process. I've not even exchanged thoughts with anybody on it. You understand? But I just feel like this is the point where people say things to be on the record. You understand? So that they can come back later and say, I agitated for this, I called for the.
Okay.
Akeredolu, please. Miss me.
Good idea or trash, like Oqua said?
I think I need my feeding bottle right now.
Very soon, guys. Very soon. We have something in store for you guys.
People watching that don't going to understand. Yeah, they will not get the joke. They'll be like, why this one's laughing? What's so funny?
We'll explain it eventually.
Actually, I don't know what Akeredolu was saying, but I thought of something one day. I think there's no better place than here to pitch this idea. Is it possible that to curb unemployment in Nigeria, we could actually move a law that everybody who has in excess, who has like money of close to $1 billion in excess, must have an employee. We don't care what they do, but you must have an employee of 20. You must have an employee of 20 people earning above minimum wage. If you have 2 billion, you must have an employee. That's the criteria for having that amount of money.
People not start hiding their money. Who's going to be calculating that money?
What you're trying to propose is an extreme socialist structure of governance. Okay. Nigeria cannot thrive. Now, what we are trying to break out of. Okay, so let me try and just paint a picture quickly.
I like that idea.
Under the PDP,
realistically.
Under the PDP, we were more capitalist. We encouraged businesses, we encouraged expansion and whatnot under the PDP. Under the APC, it's more about government wants to give you people something. Do you understand? Juxtapose Shopee and N-Power. Do you understand? Look at trader money and any other social investments, these things that happen. Before, what we used to have was we'll put policies, then we'll create a fund that will, DBN and all the likes that happened before. Now government wants to give and give and give.
Small change.
Exactly. Now that giving is not sustainable.
Because why I thought about this is just like you say, just like before somebody opens an account, the person is looking for internationally, looking for a means of identification. Right? I don't have BVN, I need to get BVN before I can open an account. So if somebody has like an excess of $1 billion, you want to keep $1 billion in your account, you're like, I need 20 employees that I need to be paying for this money to remain there. Also, you don't want that money to drop below $1 billion. So you have to think of something productive. That's you setting up a business. You're paying people, you're getting more money. Once your money gets to 2 billion, you're looking for 40 people. Once your money gets to 3 billion, you're looking for 60 people.
Yeah, but
so
I think
it's like a process. Like
wait though.
you have money, at the same time you're a business. So there are people who have huge amount of money in their account, but they're not business people. When I mean they're not business people, they probably got introduced to a certain business. They don't go to work. They don't even know the business is just being like people who invest in oil companies, for instance. You just know you're getting this return. You're just getting this, kickback every month. But you're not working. You're not doing it. But now this is you earning at the same time because you care about what you have in your account. You're giving people jobs. These people now are helping you to keep money.
Wait,
and they're also getting paid. Unemployment.
But
so Sam has 2 billion. Let's hear what he wants to say.
Nigeria is a very corrupt country. This thing will not work. It will be manipulated.
When the EFCC comes for you and asks you, no, I'm just saying. I'm just going to. Sorry, when the IRS come for you, sorry, FIRS,
International
one American. So we just say this thing. One American. So when the FIRS come for you to check to balance your sheets and all that, they are not just looking for your expenses. They're also looking for the people you paid. If these people actually earned above minimum
that
wage.
system can be manipulated. And second of all, there's something that we say in law: you do not force a willing employee on an unwilling employer. I have a right to hire or not to hire. This is private money, though. This is private money. I think when it comes to private funds, you can't tell me how to.
But I think unemployed people are going to be hot cake if that happens. They're going to be really sought after in this country.
I like the policy, though. Operation wipe out unemployment, but the government needs to figure out. The government will figure out how do we implement that.
Because even if you get big money right now, say if you get big money now, you get loot from anywhere, and the money just because that's how people get money in this country. Somebody just get
talking about loot.
How do they say careless money? You just get one kind of careless money like this, close to 3 billion naira. Yeah. You're not thinking about just putting that money in the bank. You're like, I need to put this money in the bank. I need BVN. Oh God, and I need 60 employees.
You already have a BVN, I think.
Yeah, and you need 60 employees to be able to deposit this money in your account.
I get what you're saying.
You're looking for people now.
Everybody
becomes valuable. What do you know how to do? You know how to cut grass. Come and cut grass and pay you above minimum wage.
Who will check whether that person is cutting grass?
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying. You need to also like this FIRS to check your tax and all that. Then they're checking not just tax now. They're checking how much the people you pay. They're checking those people's accounts. They're checking all of this. Just like you said, they'll try to manipulate it. They'll try to maybe send it to their family members and ask them to pay the money back.
Exactly.
But that will also reflect.
And it doesn't even have to be family member. Or there's some of all these NGOs already. They just get few people, collect money, they will pay.
Please, there's no NGOs.
Send it back. That's why I say we're dealing with a very corrupt system.
Because actually, curbing unemployment is not such a difficult thing.
I get that part. I want unemployment to be curbed, but that one
putting the burden on the people, on the private citizens, is going to be very difficult.
Nah.
Because I know during the Great Depression, when what's it called?
FDR.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when he was actually trying to set up the system better, even shoe shiners were getting paid good money. People were running like they just needed people to just be employed. Everybody just had to be employed.
Paying of good money. I think it has to do with us being good human beings that actually love and care about each other. Because most of the rich people already there, they already have employees. Some of them choose to pay them trash. There are others that value these people around them that pay them good money. So that's something that has to do with your heart, man.
In summary, Nigeria will only get as good as the people are.
Yeah, I think so.
The things that we value, the things that we place emphasis on, if we start to stand for the truth, if we start to stand for justice, if we start to stand for equity, equality across board, irrespective of gender, irrespective of ethnicity and whatnot, I think you will find Nigeria improving by itself. Like you leave this whole system as it is, and we as a people change the way we approach each other. You understand? If we listen to Tupac more, I think we'll be a better country.
Anyway, let's move.
Yes, please.
So People's Gazette, the hottest online newspaper in Nigeria right now.
I think so.
Says the publisher of another online newspaper.
Yeah, that's to let you know that I'm a very genuine, honest guy. I give credit where there's credit. Anywhere I look right now, People's Gazette, the Gazette. Yeah, so People's Gazette in an exclusive report. This is another report that was debunked, but me, I don't really care about them debunking anything these days. Yeah, so I don't trust the government. So People's Gazette in an exclusive report on Wednesday revealed that the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, has written a secret memo to President Muhammadu Buhari urging him to suspend Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution, which contains all the fundamental human rights of Nigerians, declare a state of emergency and invoke martial law due to the uncontrollable insecurities in the country. So part of the memo reads, says, the essence of the declaration is to allow for suspension of constitutional and legal bureaucratic bottlenecks pertaining to matters of national security with particular regards to fundamental rights guaranteed under Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution and processes and procedures relating to procurement, among others. To douse probable legal tension, it is important for the proclamation instrument of the statement of emergency to expressly provide for the suspension of Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution and its attendant enforcement rules. The suspension of rights pertaining to matters of national security will then give legal backing for the proclamation of the statement of emergency to be operational and effective without litigious or judicial distractions. So for those that don't know, Chapter 4 of the Constitution contains your right to life, right to fair hearing, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of association, and so. Okay. Henry Oqua, please, what's going on here? Please educate us, break this down. What's going on? Martial law, suspend Chapter 4, declare state of emergency. What's going on behind the scene?
It is, for me, it's not surprising, because I've always been on this matter that you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. This is the way Buhari understands how to. You will notice that when you criticize, there's irritation, like, who are you to criticize me? The reason why you can criticize is because of Chapter 4 of the Constitution. Now, in the absence of that, listen, we won't even be able to sit down. Going by Malami's memo, we won't be able to sit down and do this. It will be treason automatically.
Yeah.
I remember I was not too young to remember the firing squads that used to be aired on NTA. They used to show young children. It wasn't, they didn't leave it for 9 o'clock news. Before 7 o'clock news, you will see footage of the people tied to drums and shot dead.
Yeah. People used to go and watch.
That's what a military dictatorship looks like.
Yeah.
Now, that is a military dictatorship where there's a provisional ruling council that on paper puts the executive in check. The last 2 words in Malami's statement, judicial distractions, comes from a SAN, a senior advocate of Nigeria.
Member of the judiciary, so to say.
No, he is the embodiment of the law in Nigeria.
Yeah. That's the legal officer of Nigeria.
Yes, that's the guy. So basically what Malami is saying is remove anything that has stopped you from being Buhari.
This is the part that made me believe that he actually wrote the memo, because this legal part here, where he says the suspension of rights pertaining to make sure that the judiciary cannot interfere in whatever will be going on at the point in time.
The legalese of it, let's assume that any lawyer who has a particular level of exposure should be able to put these words together. I don't think that's the. It is. So if I'm going after something, what is the motive? What is the motive? We've been fighting insecurity in Nigeria, especially in the Northeast, since 2007, when Yar'Adua came into office. We did what we did with Boko Haram. We made it a business. There are franchises now across the northeast, northwest, north central. We have kidnapping. The franchise has blossomed. It has entered every region. Do you understand? Now, Malami is telling Buhari, remove the things that were not there when you came in 84, 83. Remove those things now so that you can be the Buhari of that time. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Now, oh God, sir. It means that the press cannot report what Buhari is doing. That's what it means. It means that, are you a member of a political party? You're getting arrested. That's what it means. Are you going around?
It means that when they kill people, you no longer have a right to life.
Yes!
Someone has just said.
That's what it means.
Someone has just said, if Nigeria survives this administration and the transfer of power takes place in 2023, we will need about 3 fresh hospital panels to deal with just the previous 8 years alone.
I agree with that. But I even feel like, you see how we are laughing because it sounds almost ridiculous, 3 hospital panels. Do you know what I think is even more ridiculous? That is transfer of power in 2023. Listen, earlier I said, who benefits from the chaos?
Sure.
If
these people going to live forever. Come on, man. These are very old, man. Or the Baba is very old, though.
He's still there. He's still there. Until God says it's your time to come home, you can go. You're still here. Exactly.
And there's still the risk of putting somebody else to continue the madness.
Now that's where that's what we need to understand. Malami has been touted as a possible candidate for 2023. Yeah. He's his son, senior advocate. He's the one that holds the law for Nigeria. Yeah. If Buhari pulls this off, state of emergency. We are not even sure where and for how long.
Yeah.
If Buhari pulls this off, the VP has been rendered useless. The Senate President useless. The Chief Justice of the Nation useless. Every other officer useless apart from Buhari and Malami. They're the only 2 that will remain. When that happens, where would we go? Who would we call out to? What will happen? Is he going to put the state of emergency only in the southeast? What is happening in the northeast and northwest and north central? Yeah. What will happen? Is Buhari going to declare state of emergency across the whole nation? Do you know what that means? Sir, it means that businesses can be taken over like this. It means that even as we are agitating and saying, no, we don't go agree, we even have, what do they call them, governors from the region and whatnot. No, at that time, it will be one Daudu in charge of Imo State. Right. That's what it is in military administration. Yeah. It will be one Daudu taking, I remember, which state? I think it was Plateau State that Obasanjo declared, what did they call it, state of emergency in. Yeah. And the person that he put was not from there. Yeah, for about a year. You understand what I'm saying? We are at that point where it is make or break. Now you can't come there again and say, scatter. You can't do that. You understand? So I think wherever this thing came from, there's no smoke without fire. This has Buhari's antecedents all over it. His dirty fingers, they're everywhere. Do you understand? Houston has said several times how the Senate President said that they are here to work with they were employed by the President to work for him and whatnot. So what will stop them? What will stop them, sir? It will go back to decrees where iPhone outlawed. If you have internet, prison. That's what we'll get to.
God, man, I'm already getting scared.
That's where we'll get to.
Yeah.
God forbid, though.
Do you have anything to add to this?
Honestly, I have nothing to add to this. He refuted it, but then, well,
this memo didn't come from nowhere.
The memo didn't come from nowhere, obviously. And if it was a lie, it wouldn't take. I mean, it would take more than just saying, "I disown that."
Exactly.
Memo. That's a very strong thing. So
we didn't hear anybody has been arrested.
We didn't hear anybody has been arrested.
This is a witty stuff now.
So clearly, well, I know what to expect. I know what to expect.
It's a witty stuff.
Whether or not it's true, I already know what to expect. At least it's giving us a hint into what they're preparing the president's this thing for.
I want to beg Nigerians to not take certain things.
Because we're still joking, they're still laughing on Instagram, laughing at UAR and whatever. We're playing.
We are in a very, very dangerous situation. Forget the fact that you are able to go leave your house, go to work, go to church, go to mosque or whatever it is that you do and come back, or you can still go to the club or whatever it is. Nigeria is on the brink right now. Like, listen, you cannot tell clearly what will happen in Nigeria by Monday morning. You can't tell. That is where we are, sir. Listen, a group of people are out of it. There are conversations happening about nationhood where a chunk of the nation is not involved in. Do you understand? There are people who are using their selfish desires to negotiate where they land when everything scatters.
Yeah.
And we have a vice president who is a lawyer, an SAN as well.
Yeah.
And he's looking at this happen.
I think we forget most
That's
of the
why
vice president.
is why I want that is what I want Nigerians to understand, that right now where we are completely helpless. We are helpless. There's nobody that's coming to save us. Nobody can deliver us from Buhari.
Wow. Anyway, I'm just going to end here. I'm not talking about VP and what's the name of that one again? I don't care.
Who's that? What was that?
The 2023
Oh no! I think we
candidate.
should discuss it.
You want to talk?
Yeah, I think we should discuss it.
2023. What's that? Let's talk about it.
All right. Two names of politicians came up this week for the 2023 presidency. So first, members of the Progressive Consolidation Group asked the national leader of the APC, Bola Tinubu, to reconsider his presidential ambition and step aside for Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to emerge as the successor to President Muhammadu Buhari in 2023. The group said this, and I quote, so they said President Buhari can optimally utilize what is currently within the administration now to build a better future by convincing the not-so-political professor of law to run in 2023. That's the vice president. His candidature would be far more appealing to Nigerian youths, discerning elders, and various sectors of the population. All right, second candidate, you guys reacted to it at the same time. I don't have time. So I already won. So the second candidate, which is a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and 2019 presidential candidate, Professor Kingsley Moghalu, officially declared. You said what?
Moghalu.
Oh, so they don't pronounce the GH.
It's GH. It's ha.
Moghalu. Kingsley Moghalu. Officially declared his
Why is it so
interest.
hard for you to pronounce? But you can pronounce Shaibu. And you can pronounce.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, what's that?
Professor Kingsley. Oh, you're not serious. Yeah, you are rude. Yeah. You don't remember.
This says you are rude. You have touched him now.
Professor Kingsley Moghalu, whatever, officially declared his interest to contest.
Is it professor?
Yeah, it's a prof. Most of these guys are profs. So he said, this is what he said, part of the long statement. I didn't care about the rest. He said, if elected, I will run a government with a dream team of highly competent Nigerians from all parts of our country, along with strengthened independent institutions. We will deliver results on a 4-point agenda in 4 years, in bracket 4x4. So 4-point agenda in 4 years. So the first agenda is security for all Nigerians and Nigeria's territory. So under that, okay, no, that's the first one. Yeah. So the second one is war against poverty. So under that, we have skills, we have jobs for our youths, and an innovation, economy. So the third point is accelerated education and healthcare reform. And the fourth agenda is good governance. Under that, we have inclusive, transparent, effective, and accountable. So what do you guys think about these two proposed, or these two new hopeful presidential candidates for 2023? We just talked about the vice president, and you guys said we don't even know whether we have the vice president, but a group is bigging him up right now and saying you will be the right person to.
Let's not talk too much about the group, because forming a political support group is not a problem. The three of us here can be a political support group. We can
and
issue
just
a
release
press
a
statement.
statement. All right. Okay. Let's just look at them as individuals to assess their.
Firstly, I think if you're asking what's it called? If you're asking Tinubu to step down for Osinbajo, that's creating the same problem again. If you're
Never
asking
gonna
because,
happen.
because it has happened before already. I mean, it's happening. We've seen it already. So Tinubu could have actually.
What problem? Tell us the problem.
Tinubu was supposed to be
Tinubu was
vice
supposed to be
president.
vice president, but decided to allow. I mean, you can't have two.
No, he didn't decide to allow. He was Osinbajo. Okay, so let me give the story based on people who knew what happened.
Okay.
This is from a very, very credible source. I'll drop the name, but I think it may be reckless for me to do that.
No, go on.
Don't
Now,
drop the
they
name.
facilitated the meeting between Buhari and Bat in Lagos. For months, Buhari go and see Tinubu. Buhari refused to move. Go and see Tinubu. Buhari refused to move. Eventually, Buhari, Tinubu set up 3 meetings. Buhari did not show. It was the last one. Tinubu had even gone when Buhari came for the meeting. Not Body George, was the other guy's name.
No.
I've forgotten the guy's name, but he was.
Akande? No.
Bisi
Akande.
Akande,
Yeah,
yes.
sorry,
He was the
yeah.
one who received Buhari and the CPC people who had come from the north and whatnot. Now, after they had the meeting where they agreed, okay, yes, they are going to join forces together and whatnot. When it was time to pick the VP, Buhari was back in Abuja. He was supposed to have a conversation with Tinubu. When Tinubu agreed to support Buhari, it was under the agreement that Tinubu will be his vice president. If you notice, before Buhari became presidential candidate for the APC, there was that period that we dealt with Muslim ticket.
Yeah.
Nigerians are not averse to it and whatnot. It happened before Ibiago and whatnot. So Tinubu, that was his window to come in. Now, when Buhari emerged as candidate and he was supposed to pick Osinbajo, but not Osinbajo, but he was supposed to present
vice president.
There was an agreement in place already. Now, Buhari did not leave Kaduna. He sent Nasir El-Rufai and an entourage to Tinubu with a message: give me the name of a Christian that will be the vice president. I'm not joking.
Oh.
This is verbatim. This is what I was told. I even have a recording of it. I keep it very, very safe.
Wow.
Give me a vice president that is Christian. Tinubu's hands were tied. For 3 days, I think, Nasir and his group were in Tinubu's house.
But he wanted Tinubu to be the one to bring the
exactly.
person. Okay,
Since he could not emerge as.
Yeah.
The statement basically was, Nigerians will not accept Muslim. I'm a Muslim already. Give me a Christian that will be this thing. It took about 3 or 4 days, and then Bat finally submitted Osinbajo's name.
Okay.
That was that meeting that you would see the president holding the professor's coat and his shirt and everything. I don't know, have you seen it where he was presenting Osinbajo? I think when we are producing this, we should put that picture there. You see how he grabs him by the, and everything. Buhari is a tall man and Tinubu is Yemi is a shorter person. And you could see all of that. So behind all of that was that I'm supposed to be vice president. Now you've denied me. Now it's my turn. That's the conversation that Tinubu is having now.
All right, Houston. Sorry.
So I was saying, however you analyze it, I think Osinbajo was brought in by Tinubu, which makes Osinbajo very dependent, whether you like it or not, and Osinbajo not so vocal. So I think we're still going to have the same thing. Osinbajo he can't emerge as president on his own. He's still going to have a lot of people. And he will not be able to, Osinbajo, I know that we're seeing right now, will not be able to turn against those people and do what is right if those people want what is wrong. So clearly, Osinbajo will not be the perfect independent candidate that we will have. As for Kingsley Moghalu, my problem with Kingsley Moghalu is, firstly, if we have I'm saying this on record, anybody could quote me anywhere. I do not, right now, at this point, I don't want the nationalists, and I'm saying it especially from the Igbo extraction. If we have an Igbo man become president right now in this country, a lot of the Northerners are going to be very, very, very happy, satisfied. In fact, Northerners are going to be so filled up in his administration, they're going to be running the affairs and everything, because there's this thing with the South. We like inclusiveness a lot. Good Lord Jonathan actually he expressed that in his own time. We will carry all of these people around, And the thing with this kind of inclusiveness, due to the fear for the North, if you get a Moghalu, he's going to, get a lot of the Northerners because he wants to satisfy the North, and they will never appreciate him. Whether or not he likes it, they will never appreciate him. And after his tenure, he probably might not even have a second term. And he'll be doing this at the expense of his own place. This is why I'm saying it here boldly. I don't support the Igbo presidency from today also. Probably in the future I will. But right now, with all of this tension going on, I don't think an Igbo presidency will actually solve the problem in this country. In the East, not the problem in this country. An Igbo presidency will not support the problem, will not solve the problem in the Southeast. It might, ameliorate some of the issues in the North, because we're bringing somebody who comes with a different idea for the first time in this country. But he's going to have this. The thing with people in the Southeast, they always come with these nationalist ideas. And when you bring people from every other, every other region, they don't come with this nationalistic idea.
Is it a bad idea?
It's not a bad idea, but my problem is the Southeast has suffered for so long, and the people who always for me, I'm being honest. Let another Northerner come and become president. I really don't care. Let another Southerner another Southwesterner come and become president. If Tinubu becomes president, I really don't care. What I really care about right now is laws that will protect the identity of the Igbo man, laws that will bring about inclusiveness and respect for the Igbo man. That is all I care about. Not an Igbo president. If an Igbo president comes in there, first he's going to be very cowardly, and he's going to get a lot of Northerners to surround himself because he wants to please the North first. Goodluck Jonathan went in there. I have a tape. I have the phone call. I don't know if you have it. An exclusive phone call between former Governor Shatima of Borno State and the governor of Ibikune Amosu. You need to listen to everything he said. And when he was saying this, he was speaking for his people. He said, we did this, the North did this. Goodluck Jonathan didn't do anything for us. Meanwhile, in Goodluck Jonathan State, where I happened to have lived for 7 years, the people there were saying Goodluck Jonathan didn't even do anything for them because he was focused on helping the North for the first tenure and wanted to shift concentration to his place in the second tenure, which he never had. Do you understand? And this is the thing, this is the problem we in the South always have. We want to please those people who are going to disturb us, who are going to be problems to us. So right now, let the Northern president come, provided he's going to give me that respect that my people desire, or a Southwestern president. He could come from anywhere, I really don't care. But I know if an Igbo man like Moghalu goes in there, just like he's already stipulated, he's going to get a thoroughly inclusive government. And talking about thoroughly inclusive government, you have three regions already in the North. The North already has 3 regions of the same idea and all that.
An inclusive government now. Anyway, Oqua, 2 minutes.
Osinbajo is tainted. He should not, for any reason, except if he's not really a man of God.
Yeah.
He should not, for any reason, tender himself to run for office. It is completely dishonest, and it's just criminal. It's stuff that you get from.
It's criminal.
It's like a mob boss coming to church and taking Holy Communion and whatnot. Please, we're not fools.
So you don't think he has the capacity to?
No, he doesn't even have the capacity to be a curtain in the villa. No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't come close. Okay. As for Moghalu, some of his ideas are interesting to hear. Mm-hmm. I feel like what Houston has said is very, very credible, because in seeking that consensus, you lose yourself. But there's nobody right now who can come into that office without that consensus. There's nobody. Because you have to build bridges across different places. And I'm wondering if Moghalu's time in the private sector has given him enough to be able to navigate the waters in Nigeria, political waters in Nigeria. Yeah. We saw how he fared in 2019, how everything just crumbled, If he can do that, it will be different. It will be good to have someone we can say has not been part of the ruling class in Nigeria, come in with certain kinds of ideas. There are things that he's already doing privately and stuff that if we get some of those things. But as is the case with every other person that comes into the office, your hands are tied in several key areas. You understand? You can't just especially if you're getting elected as a democratic president. There are things you cannot do. You understand? Now that will give him constraints. My worry really is whether he has what it takes to really get into the contest this time around. Emerge as a party's candidate, not one party in a kitchen, a major party's candidate. You understand, and actually make his claim. You understand. I feel like if he's able to do that, maybe by that same election cycle or by another election cycle, we will see that the field has widened. We may no longer have former NURTW chairmen coming to vie for public office and stuff.
My fear for Moghalu, I just feel he doesn't appeal to Nigerians, like the average Nigerian voter. I don't know whether they will show up for him. So that's where I agree with you, where you say he needs to align with a major political party, because I think sometimes those followers or those supporters or those voters come with those political parties.
They come with the endorsements that are behind those political parties. You understand? So if the political party represents a certain kind of thing,
why do we still think like that, though? Why do we still move like that? I mean, the voters. Why do we have to wait for who Tinubu is endorsing or who Obasanjo has endorsed?
Because Fayose was right.
This has not worked for us for a long while.
So we have continued. So we have a drum that has been, let's look at a GP tank, for example, that has been riddled with bullets, and we have used sellotape to cover certain places. Some holes are gushing and whatnot. We are losing money, we are losing people, we are wasting resources and whatnot, and we are still trying to patch it. So there are two narratives for Nigeria. There's a Nigeria we want to build, and there's a Nigeria that exists where all of us are too squeamish to let what will happen. Do you understand? So while we are managing that, Tinubu endorses somebody, let them go and vote.
America. Okay, let them not go there. They tried something different. It didn't really work though for some people, but at least they tried something different.
I think
at some point we may need to try something different.
As much as this lightens the mood, this talk about, imagine the candidature of people for 2023 election is the lightest topic that we have discussed.
I know.
Do you understand? I feel like we are still a long way from the elections.
Yes.
A lot of things can still go very, very wrong.
All right. So we have come to the end of today's episode. Thank you guys for.
Thank you, sir.
Today was draining. Well, at the end of the day, we have to talk about these things. Please like this video, share, subscribe to Paycheck6 TV on YouTube. We need your subscription, and stay safe out there. Yeah, stay safe. Thank you.
Please pray for Nigeria.